in '94 when we did it, it was great because it was an early trophy to win, and then it set us up perfectly for the FA Cup as well.
And John, you were part of a side at Manchester City that did the double with regards to winning the Cup and then the League. Obviously, Manchester City never short of confidence, but winning that trophy must have set you off for the rest of the season.
Yeah, possibly, but at the time you're not looking at it like that. You're just determined to win that game in hand. That game at that time. Obviously, you go to Wembley, you want to come away a winner, and that was the case.
Of course, I mean, for some of your former teams, enjoyed varying degrees of success during the course of the week. If we take a look at Aston Villa now, they lost to Burton in the second round. When we look at the result and also the performance and also the words from Steve Bruce afterwards, he used the words embarrassing, the team didn't turn up. Are you surprised that it's getting levelled at that group of players? Quite a scathing assessment, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of harsh because he's made a number of changes and it was down to him to make them changes. So it's hard to just kind of label the players as a disgrace on the evening.
Is it true? I mean, when you've got someone like Burton, I mean, it's only one league victory for them this season. A scalp such as Aston Villa, a fillip for them moving forward?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, I'm not going so well at the start of the season, so that was a massive game for them in terms of confidence and getting a kick-start in their season.
What impact can a good cup run have on your league form?
Massive for the squad. Obviously, most teams now rotate their teams and their squads in that competition. So, obviously, if you're not playing week in, week out in the league, you want to obviously give a good account of yourself in that competition.
David, QPR started, I was going to say, be nice and say slowly, not too well, obviously. Picked up in the last couple of games and obviously beating Bristol City in the EFL Cup. I mean, you've worked under Steve McClaren. Is it just a case of him getting time to get his ideas across?
I think so, yeah, because everybody that you speak to says about Steve McClaren as a coach that he's fantastic. The Man United lads had a lot of praise for him, and I think it's just a case of time. But like I say, QPR, they didn't have a good start, but now they're gaining confidence. And games like this helps with the confidence.
Echoing what Jolene's saying, the fact that a good cup run can feed into the league form, because sometimes we hear about the load put on players, but confidence surely from any result is a good thing. Yeah,
exactly. And it carries on. Winning is a great habit to have. And if you can carry on doing this in the cup, it will then take it into the league as well.
OK, one tie that did stand out for us was the Huddersfield Stoke because of the goals involved in this game. The first one, Saido Berahino, his first goal in 913 days. Now, a lot is made, isn't there, of Saido Berahino's goal scoring or lack of goal scoring. This, Jolene, must be the perfect reaction.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, it wouldn't be the way he would have dreamt it going in, but any goal at this stage of his, obviously, with his...
You said it was an own goal.
Well, no side off, so yeah, I wouldn't say that on TV.
And also not dreaming of putting a goal in such as that, Juninho Bacuna.
Yeah, no, unfortunately that he did get injured after this as well.
Do you think the injury was a direct result of that, or just perhaps a bit of embarrassment?
Maybe a bit of both, but as I say, we don't want to see players get injured at any time.
Well, just in the interest of parity, we're going to ask the fellas if those goals reminded them of goals that they have perhaps been involved in during the course of their career. This one for you, David, I think as soon as you saw this, and I presume you've seen it many times, it's quite obviously Lee Dixon's fault, isn't it?
Yeah, he got his wellies on that day, I think. And obviously that was the days when you could have a back pass, a proper back pass.
And you still couldn't find your hands.
No, but he said that he started all the criticism about me getting done in the top right-hand corner. But anyway.
And we treat our guests extremely fairly here on EFL Matters. We're nice to both of them, and we're not nice to both of them. Jolie, I think this one's a little bit harsh from your point of view.
Joe Hart's fault as well.
Was that a goalkeeper with a lack of communication for you?
No, as I said, obviously I thought I could get something on the ball enough to divert it away from goal, but it wasn't to be.
Well, just between the two, I'm sure you wouldn't vote for either goal. I mean, from the point of view of who doesn't want to be seen claiming the goal, I presume for you, you're in the clear there, David.
I am, yeah. It's got nothing to do with me. Yep, never even touched it.
Obviously, the third round draw is going to be taken in just a minute. We're going to look at some selected numbers now, perhaps for you to look out for at home. Arsenal is obviously one that sticks out, runners up last year. Blackpool, they beat Doncaster Rovers in the last round. Number 7 is Burton. They knocked out Aston Villa. Derby picking up under Frank Lampard. They've won their last 3. Liverpool looking for silverware under Jurgen Klopp. Macclesfield, the last League 2 club left in the draw. Manchester City, obviously the current holders. Oxford United beat Newport, they're number 22. Tottenham looking for a trophy under Mauricio Pochettino. Wickham beating Forest Green on penalties in the last round. At this stage, we'd like to welcome viewers from Sky Sports News to the round 3 draw of this season's Carabao Cup. Round 3 sees the introduction of the 7 Premier League sides competing in European competitions, including last season's winners, Manchester City. The previous 2 nights of Carabao Cup action saw Premier League sides Cardiff and Huddersfield beaten by Championship sides Norwich and Stoke, respectively. Macclesfield Town are the last League Two club remaining in the competition. The round 3 draw is unseeded and is no longer regionalised, meaning any club can get drawn against another. Drawing the balls out will be our 2 guests, David Seaman and Jolyon Lescott. David will be drawing the home clubs and Jolyon the away clubs. David, if you could give the ball a good stare and pull out the first ball, please.
Number 29.
Number 29 is West Brom, winners in 1966.
Number 9.
Number 9, Crystal Palace, 4 times a semi-finalist, never a winner.
Number 2.
Number 2 are Arsenal, runners up for the 6th time last season. They've also won the trophy twice, David, as you well know.
Okay.
Number 5.
Number 5, Brentford.
Number 7.
Number 7 are Burton Albion.
Number 6.
6 are Burnley, beaten on penalties by Leeds at the 3rd round stage last season.
Number 32.
Number 32, Wycombe Wanderers, won penalty shootouts in both first and the second rounds.
Number 20.
Number 20, Norwich, twice winners. They knocked out Premier League side Cardiff on Tuesday.
Number 22.
Number 22, Oxford United, winners way back in 1986.
Number 16.
Number 16, Manchester City. Obviously the holders, 5-time winners.
Number 30.
Number 30, West Ham. They've never won the AFL Cup. Quarter-finalists in the last 2 seasons.
Number 15.
Number 15, Macclesfield. The only League Two side left in the competition.
Number 19.
Number 19, Millwall. Millwall very quiet in the studio.
Number 12.
Number 12, Fulham. There you go. It's all very friendly now, isn't it?
Number 14.
Number 14, Liverpool. They've won a record 8 EFL Cups.
Number 8.
Number 8, Chelsea. Wow, 5-time winners, most recently in 2015.
Well played.
Number 1.
Number 1, Bournemouth. They reached the quarter-final stage last season, the joint best ever performance.
Number 3.
Number 3, Blackburn Rovers, winners back in 2002.
Number 23.
Number 23, Preston. They knocked out unbeaten United on Tuesday.
Number 18.
Number 18, Middlesbrough. Winners back in 2004, unbeaten in the Championship so far this season.
Number 31.
31, Wolves. Twice winners. Took eventual winners Manchester City to penalties last year.
Number 13.
Number 13, Leicester. 3 times winners. Harry Maguire is apparently watching and was hoping for a home draw, so you're in the bad books, guys.
Number 27.
Number 27, Tottenham Hotspur. 4 times winners, most recently 2008.
Number 28.
Number 28, Watford.
Number 4.
Number 4, Blackpool. Get to go on the Big Dipper, whoever goes there.
Number 24.
Number 24, Queen's Park Rangers. There you go. It's lovely in warm-up there, you'll be fine.
Number 11.
Number 11, Everton. They recorded the biggest ever second-round crowd at Goodison in the EFL Cup for 50 years.
Number 25.
Number 25, Southampton.
My fault.
Number 17.
Number 17, Manchester United. Jose's won this trophy 4 times.
Number 10.
Number 10, Derby by process of elimination, obviously.
Number 21.
Number 21, Nottingham Forest. 4-time winners and winners of that game, that dramatic game last night against Newcastle United.
Number 26.
Number 26 against Stoke City, who knocked out Huddersfield on Tuesday. OK, that concludes the round 3 draw of the Carabao Cup. Ties will be played the week commencing the 24th of September, with 2 matches selected to be shown live on Sky Sports. OK, so let's recap what's just happened here in the studio. The gents have done a sterling job of drawing the round 3 of the Carabao Cup. Just for confirmation purposes, West Brom take on Crystal Palace, Arsenal take on Brentford, Burton take on Burnley, Wickham against Norwich, Oxford United against Manchester City, West Ham against Macclesfield, Millwall host Fulham, Liverpool Chelsea, look at that one. Bournemouth take on Blackburn, Preston take on Middlesbrough, Wolves against Leicester, Tottenham against Watford. Now Tottenham have applied to the EFL for special dispensation because it's a home draw to play at a neutral venue. The outcome will be decided in due course. Blackpool take on QPR, Everton take on Southampton, Manchester United versus Derby, and Nottingham Forest take on Stoke. OK, join us after the break where we'll get all the reaction from the round 3 draw of the Carabao Cup. Welcome back to this special EFL Matters draw for the round 3 of the Carabao Cup. Julian Lescott and David Seaman are alongside me, as well as various fans who have been wonderful company so far. Gents, when we take a look at the draw and the standout, perhaps, ties that you've managed to pick out, from your point of view, David, you look at the top, Arsenal versus Brentford.
Yeah. Quite happy
Sounds
with
like the
that.
Brentford fans certainly fancy themselves.
Yeah, I think they fancy a trip to the Emirates, but I hope you don't enjoy it too much.
And if we're looking at something like a West Ham versus Macclesfield, we saw obviously they were against AFC Wimbledon. They come up against League 2 opposition in Macclesfield. It's going to be pressure on West Ham, surely.
Yeah, but it'll be different fixture, obviously, at home. A bigger pitch, bigger surroundings, more fans than possibly Macclesfield players have played in front of, so more difficult for Macclesfield this time around.
Pressure on West Ham, from the point of view of how they've started the season, do you feel?
Depending on the running to the cup game, obviously, if they're picking up results now up until that game, they'll probably make more changes and obviously give them a chance to get more confidence. But it all depends on their current form going into that game.
And great opportunity for Maxfield to go to such a venue, as Jolien says, and perform. No pressure.
Exactly. No pressure. Yeah, no pressure. But I'm sure that it should be a comfortable game for West Ham. But you just never know.
Liverpool versus Chelsea looks fairly meaty, doesn't it?
That's a great game, isn't it? Yeah. When you see that drawn out at the top, the other top teams will be like, at least one of them are going out.
Yeah. Do you think the contrasting styles, perhaps, of Sarri and Jurgen Klopp going into that, Jolien? Tactics are going to play a part, do you feel?
Yeah, obviously personnel as well. They'll be around Champions League games, obviously league games, so I'm sure both teams make a number of changes, and then again, confidence, and players will want to prove themselves in that game.
I'm looking at the Tottenham-Watford tie. I mean, from Tottenham's point of view, about winning silverware and how we judge managers, we talk about Jurgen Klopp, we talk about Mauricio Pochettino, about needing to win silverware to establish themselves as these great managers. Is it a good competition for them to be in?
Yeah, definitely, but can they rotate? I don't think they have the biggest number of squads in the Premier League, so obviously they've got a very strong 11, but players coming in obviously are not as well known in regards to that, so I'm sure they want to play a strengthened team as well. And
Tottenham perhaps being at that stage in the hunt for the title race, obviously finishing in February, this competition, as with Jolien's experience with regard to Manchester City, can that dovetail into the league for?
Yeah, of course he can, but it'll probably be another trip to Wembley for Watford, an early trip to Wembley. But but with Tottenham, it's a good chance, and like you said, to get that first trophy on the board, and for Tottenham, they really need that.
And the one at the bottom, Manchester United versus Derby, Jose Mourinho versus one of his disciples, Frank Lampard. Slightly different atmospheres at both clubs at this moment in time. Again, is the pressure on Jose, and maybe for Frank Lampard to go and prove himself?
Yeah, I think the pressure is always going to be on Jose, and I think he's adding
not that we mentioned
it,
but
I think he's going to add to that. Obviously, the way things are going in results-wise, it's not great for Man United, but yeah, I'm sure Frank Lampard learned a lot from Jose over the years playing underneath him, so I'm sure he knows a few tricks.
Is it intriguing to see where perhaps you see a player that's so synonymous with a manager's way of playing, how he sets his side up? And with regards to Derby this season, he's wanted to play out from the back. Maybe he's not going to go to Old Trafford and do exactly the same thing, is it?
No, exactly. And it'll be interesting to see how strong the team is that Frank chooses, because he'll certainly want to put one over Jose. And if Man United are playing as they are now with not much confidence, they'll be looking forward to going to Old Trafford.
We've seen in recent years Birmingham and Swansea win the actual competition. We've seen Bristol City progress. Are the teams nestled under perhaps the favourites and the complete underdogs that should realistically perhaps have a decent crack at getting far in the competition, Johnny?
Yeah, of course you should. Players want to win trophies, and that's what you're judging on when you retire. But there's teams in the Premier League that obviously came up, like Wolves, that are probably used to playing 2 games a week, so they won't need to rotate. Their players will be used to playing that physicality of game, so it's not necessary for them to rotate their team.
But surely we must be looking at teams such as Manchester City, when we're talking about double winning sides and giving them that platform. Away at Oxford, it's an uphill. Uphill's an understatement. It's an mountain task, isn't it, for Oxford against Manchester City? But knowing the way that Pep sets his teams up, knowing the inner machinations of Manchester City, every single game means the most to them, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course. They'll be determined to win every game they go into. And even them rotating their team, it's not going to be necessarily a weakened team. Most of their players could play pretty much any team in the Premier League. But the likes of Phil Foden and a couple more youngsters, hopefully they get some airtime.
And do you think, from their point of view, when we talk about the projected career progression of someone like a Foden, when we look at going to somewhere like Oxford, is it more, it's not what he does with his feet, surely it's what he does with his head and the way he approaches the game, isn't it?
He'll probably approach that game more professionally than most, because it's a first team opportunity for him. He doesn't start that week in, week out, so he's going to be geared up just performing for the first team, so I don't think he'll go into it any way then knowing how I'm more determined to win that game.
From Oxford's point of view, David, when the big boys do roll into town, it's the whole show's there, isn't it? And again, for them, is it a case of a free hit, nothing to lose?
Yeah, this is almost their cup final. It's a great chance for them to show what they can do, but also to gauge themselves against the best in the Premier League. And I'm sure they'll have a great day. But what Man City do is they always put a strong team out, no matter what competition they're in, and that's great to see. And it'll be a big test for Oxford.
And your former side, Wolves, on Tuesday made pretty decent work of coming past Sheffield Wednesday, didn't they, Jolien? And when we look at that, and the players that scored, Bonatini, Helder Costa, took the Championship by storm last season, didn't they? Seem to be settling in pretty well to Premier League life as well. These types of performances, these types of players, again, are they looking to not necessarily operate under the radar, but have a decent crack in the Carabao Cup?
Yeah, well, I'm sure they would like to go on and progress into this cup and potentially win it. But again, Wolves probably most ambitious in this season is to stay in the Premier League. But they've got a great squad now. They've built a lot of players. Brought in new players this season. So I'm sure when they do the rotate, it's a well-equipped team to win this cup.
Mm-hmm. OK, well, that's the reaction of the ex-pros. We're going to go very carefully past this very expensive trophy. Coming to our studio audience to get some reaction from the fans inside here. They've been wonderful so far. Let's hope they're going to stay wonderful. Tina and Maggie,
Hi.
Ladies, welcome. Your reaction to the draw?
Interesting. We'd rather it was at home, of course.
You've been to Oxford before?
Years and years and years ago, and I can't remember, in fact, if it was when Oxford were in the first division or it was when we were trawling through the lower depths. It was a long time ago, and I know very little about them. But whatever, I'm sure Pep will prepare them exactly as if it was just the biggest side. He'll go out to win. Mm-hmm. It was the first trophy that he won in England, so hopefully he's got a soft spot for it.
And having the experience of what Manchester City have been through, it seems a world away now with regard to what they are. But having been down to the depths and come back up again, do Man City fans appreciate a tie such as this even more?
Yeah, I think so.
You all seem like a pretty down-to-earth bunch, I'll be honest. I'm sure United fans wouldn't agree. But...
No, I mean, we're looking forward to the day out. Good evening out. We've not been there for a while. Pep will undoubtedly set a team out to win. And perhaps it'll give us the opportunity to see some of the younger players as well, see what they can do.
And the Champions League, perhaps a distraction with regard to Shakhtar Lyon and Hoffenheim. I mean, he likes to fight on all fronts, doesn't he?
Indeed, yes, and he won't treat this any less seriously than he does the Champions League. Mm-hmm. Every game he goes out to win.
Well, we wish you all the very, very best.
Thank you.
Guys, you were very vocal and active in what we've seen. Yeah, happy with the draw, first and foremost?
Yeah, I was obviously like a home draw, but even a derby match in London is not too far. So happy with that. And I know the Fulham faithful will be there supporting the lads. So,
what's your thoughts on the start to the season so far?
Actually, I'm pretty positive because even we had a couple of defeats, with Tottenham and Crystal Palace. The performances were still good. Mm-hmm. And look at the performance we had against Burnley. Mm-hmm. And the other night against Exeter, although that was our fringe team, even our fringe team, if they were in the Championship, they'd still win the Championship. So there's a lot of positives to come. Oh, yeah. I'm positive.
Typically.
Exactly. So, no, it's been a good start. And it's a learning curve for some of the players in the Premiership, but obviously on a cup run with the fringe players, there's a lot of players want to get in the first team, so Slav will have some decision-making what to do and what players to put in, but it's great competition, it's healthy competition.
Fantastic. And Millwall, very tough place to go to, as we've seen over the course of the last couple of seasons. You must fancy yourselves at home.
Yeah, of course we do. Any team that comes down, we're favourites to win now.
And when you look at the game on last night with regard to going 1-0 down against Plymouth, it was a late winner. Yeah. Does that show the character that Neil Harris puts into his side?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Fulham won't want to come out to Millwall, and I'll fancy it. I'll fancy it. No problem. Neil won't be worried at all about this one. No
Score prediction?
2-0 Millwall.
Don't know about that. He's got it in reverse. It's ran the other way.
2-0 for Fulham.
Absolutely.
Well, gents, keep it clean and all the best with it. OK. Brentford, the Brentford Massive are in the house. How are we all? Good. Reaction to the draw?
Oh, it's absolutely fantastic. It's going to be a great atmosphere for all the Bees fans going there. And we've got a couple of Arsenal youngsters in the team, or former Arsenal youngsters in the team, in Nico Yanaris and Josh Da Silva. So it'll be great for them to go back to Arsenal.
That'll give them a vital bit of inside information going back there?
Possibly, considering we've just signed Josh Da Silva and he turned down a contract at Arsenal.
Wow.
So, he might have a little bit of insight. But it's just going to be a fantastic game for the fans and for the club.
Wickham, how are we? That's scared you then, didn't I? Sorry, Rose. Well, your reaction to your draw?
I think it's good. I mean, it'll be a tough test against Norwich, but I think we'll go out there hoping to win. It'll be tough, but I think we'll get to penalties in the end. Yeah,
against Norwich, and you've got Gareth Ainsworth in charge, a man that seems to be part of the furniture, doesn't he, at Wycombe Wanderers, and a man that can lead you against a team such as that.
He's helped us a lot get into League One, and he's signed great players today. And throughout the transfer window, and I'm really excited.
You've also got the Beast as well, haven't you? He can always help out. That understated presence at the front of the team. All the best, guys. All the best. Right, we come all the way all around here to the rounds. How are we? You okay down there?
Yeah.
Yes. What's your reaction to the draw? Happy enough? Yes. Yeah. I mean, wearing a shirt like that, you'll be able to see each other, won't you? So, I mean, and Derby's start to the season, they seem to be picking up, don't they?
Just.
Under Frank.
Yep.
And happy with the way that he's set the team up?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah?
Definitely. Especially against Hull.
Yeah, and obviously having played him in the week and being in a position where you can score goals, and you've seen the kind of goals that you can score, you're going to be in a position where you can win the side.
Yeah.
You don't sound too confident.
Yeah, it's get in there.
Yeah.
Slow start.
Yeah.
Definitely get there by the end of the
Got to be
season, I
patient,
think.
haven't we? That's the main thing.
Definitely.
Cool. Guys, thank you very much. Superb stuff. Let me come back round here. Right, guys. We've heard from the fans. Let's get back to the ex-pros. Gut feeling for who perhaps could win the Carabao Cup this year?
For me, it's whoever puts the strongest teams out in the rounds. You can normally tell by that. But then when you do get to the final, you've got to put a strong team out. Arsenal never used to, but I think for me, you need a strong team in the final.
Yeah, again, same. I think the bigger squads and the most strength squads will get further in the round. So, like Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City will be there or thereabouts.
Gents, superb stuff. And guys, superb stuff as well. Here's just to get you up to speed about the Carabao Cup, the next round, coming up with 2 games on Sky Sports. Yet to be picked, they're on September the 25th and the 26th, both on Sky Sports Football. The UEFA Nations League begins on Thursday, September the 6th. Wales against the Republic of Ireland at 7 p.m. On the Friday, Scotland take on Belgium. Remember, Sky have all the home nations in action. That's 7 p.m. On the Saturday, Northern Ireland take on Bosnia-Herzegovina at 1:30 p.m. and concludes with England at 7 p.m. on the Saturday also. They're playing Spain on Sky Sports Football. Many more live games also in that tournament. OK, from us here in the studio for the round 3 draw of the Carabao Cup, we've enjoyed ourselves. We hope you have too. Thank you very much for joining us. Goodbye.
Sky Sports. Feel it all.